Hi everyone, how are y'all doing? I hope you're doing good. Normally, I don't think I've had my hair up in a video in so long. It's like a little bun that I have in the back. Um, but I was working tonight, so that's why the hair is up. It's not down. Because it's kind of just a lot of work to have it down. It's honestly so much easier to have it up, especially when you're working. Like, your hair is not getting all in your shit that you're trying to do. Like, I don't know how people do that. Like, you're cooking and cleaning and you have like your hair down to your ankles. Like, I don't love it, support it. I don't understand. But besides that, so random. Um Today we're going to have a story time. And this is like becoming a trend with these story times is like this is not a fun story. This is just trauma. But again, like spreading awareness and education is key. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I think in one of my old videos I said I am not a therapist. I need therapy. I'm not a therapist. I need therapy, bitch. So just take it with a grain of salt. But like, education is key and like I think firsthand accounts um they tell like a whole story and like you can learn from it. Like you don't have to go through it to like necessarily learn from things. I don't fucking know, bitch. Let's get into it. So, um, during this era, like it was like a couple years ago that this happened. In this era, I was like working a fast food job. Like I didn't care, just like super young, just super like, bitch. I don't give a fuck. Like I do not give a fuck. Like the world is burning around me. Like let's have fun. But at the same time, I rarely went out. I really went out. I would just get so nervous. But like I love to have like fun, like in that realm. But I just like I think a lot of it was bred from insecurity, but I would rarely go out. But this night I went out. And we go to the bar. It's fun. We actually had an incident before we went to the bar where I literally locked us out. Like if you lock the handle on a door and you shut it, you can lock it. So we would do that a lot on our door to just have the door locked and it's like easy to do as you're leaving. Um, but I had done that as we were leaving, but none of us had our keys. Like you were actually like we all got ready to go out. None of us had our keys. So they got really mad at me and I was trying everything in my power to like get this door unlocked. Like we had to like call a locksmith, like um no one was able to come in and like we tried to literally get to like the second window, the second story window, like just a lot of like craziness before we can go out. But luckily after some time I was able to get these are one of the locks, like if it's locked like that you can get a card and like open the door. But the way the door was positioned was so weird, like it wasn't easy to do that. So that's why like we had to resort to other ways because like um the slit of the door was kind of blocked by the frame of it, so you can't really get a card in easily. Luckily we got that done. It literally took like half an hour to like an hour though, which was crazy. That's not a part of the story at all, but that's like a little mini story. So we go out. Again, in this era, I don't really care. I'm just kind of like doing a lot of things, but also not that much. Like, I'm not going crazy going out, but in other areas, I just really don't care. I really took a liking to smoking weed during this era. It was just kind of like a part of like a nighttime routine. I never really liked smoking with people. And I do think that's the best place to start is like if you are going to smoke, just be around other people that you know and trust. That you know and trust. Say it with me. That you know and trust. Okay, bitch. So I would just get really anxious with the people around me though. Like I didn't have fun smoking around people, but I noticed when I would smoke with myself, I was like, chill. Like that's how you're supposed to feel like smoking weed. So I was trying all these different strains, all these different ways to smoke it, all these different ways to get it in, like literally what is going on. Um, but after we had went out that night, it was so fun. Like it was the first time I went to this like club or whatever, and it's like an arcade. And it's just so cute, so fun. It's like such a local place. Like everyone goes to it, but I never been and like I had such a fun time. Um, and I was so happy I went out. Great, great. And I would say a big reason why I also got turned off by going out is because when we started going out in the beginning of like our going out phase, like college era, everything horrible that could go wrong went wrong. And like I was just tired of it. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to have a good night. I don't want to die. I don't want my friends to die. Like literally every night someone was being a creep, there'd be literally like an assault that happens. Like places were getting like shot up, and oh my god, there's one more thing. But just like craziness, and like a lot of the time, like it wasn't like that much fun. I think if it was more fun, like I would have been down for it, but like no, I'm not getting traumatized to like have like a mediocre like going out night. Um, it's like what the fuck? So I get home after this night out, and I do my normal routine like I normally do, and I take a little Eddie. It's just like a chocolate, like I don't know, probably like that big. Ooh. It's so stupid. Like that big. I'm just trying to show. Like it was like a square. It was like a big square. Like think like Godiva, but like it's wheat chocolate. So stupid. Um. So I take that. Very normal. It's like the regular dose you take. Um. I'm chilling. I put on a stream. I'm vibing. Like it's just like when you're used to it, you just like you're just relaxed, you're comfortable, everything's great. I had such a good night going out. We got locked out, but it's okay because I'm vibing now. And I feel my legs start to shake. I'm like, huh. Like, what's that about? And like imagine like my legs like they're like laying on top of each other. And it kind of feels like they're like separating a little bit with the shakes. And I'm like, huh. I've never felt this before. Like, this is so weird. So weird. And then, like, I feel like in those moments, like, you really start to, like, analyze everything. So I'm, like, thinking about my legs, and I'm like, huh, like, that's so weird that that's, like, happening. Like, is that normal? Like, I remember just, like, just thought loop. Like, chain of thoughts going on. And then I remember I was drinking my water. One of the best things I ever had, ever, whenever I would smoke, is just a cold, like, I think like Stanley Cup size of just water. Ice cold water. Oh my gosh. It's like you're drinking, like, from like a mountain spring. And you've been traveling through the desert. Like, that's what it's giving. Um, but bitch, like, I'm so tired after work. I'm like, literally, what are we talking about? Oh, so I'd have this big thing of water, right? And like, oh my God, it's like all I would want when I'm high. And I'm drinking it, and I'm kind of laying down drinking it. And I somehow convinced myself that like all this water that I'm drinking is somehow like seeping into my lungs and that I'm not going to be able to breathe and I'm going to die. And I remember like very quickly, like things started to escalate. Escalate in a way where it's like, oh, like I'm chilling, I'm having the best night ever, to like, oh my God, I'm gonna die, and like, I don't know what the fuck to do. So, again, like, I'm just laying on the ground. My legs were kind of shaking. I thought that was weird. And then I have this thought of the water in my lungs. And I keep just like cycling that thought, like, oh my God, there's water in my lungs. There's water in my lungs. There's water in my lungs. And like, I'm like, I keep drinking water. But if you've ever been high, oh my God, I haven't been high in so long. Like, I kind of like forgot what it even feels like. Maybe in another life, maybe in another era, we'll go back. But like, bitch, after this story, um, I, I was drinking this water, and oh, what I meant to say is that like, once you get stuck on a thought, it'll really tend to repeat. Or like if you've ever been around people who are high, like they will repeat the same thing like 50 times, like thinking that they're telling you for the first time. So like it's like not uncommon. So like I thought about like, oh my God, there's water in my lungs, there's water in my lungs. Like for like way too long, way too long. And then I remember getting up, and at this point, I was just like a little frantic. Like I start shaking in my hands, and I'm like going to the bathroom, and I'm like really thinking, and I'm just like pacing. I'm literally pacing the room, like just like kind of freaking out, like literally. The stream's still going off, and like I just like I don't know, like I was not there. Like I don't know how to express like I was not in my body. Like I was just like panic mode, panic. And then I it's so weird. Like this is like such a hard story to remember too because it was so traumatic. Like literally traumatic. Like I cannot express to you. Um I'm pacing back and forth, and like things it's so hard to like I don't think it's so hard to describe, but it's so hard to like understand like what you're feeling, what you're hearing. The I was definitely having a bad high, and I know a couple signs for this now. One sign that is so weird. I have no idea how this happens. Um, but oh my God, like it's literally like the exact same thing from if you've ever heard of Inhale, Exhale by Skrillex. He has kind of this siren going in the back of the song. And it's kind of funny. It probably is relation into like being high because it's talking about him being too high. So he's like inhale, exhale. Um, but I'll notice like there will be these sirens that I can like hear, and it's like getting louder, and it's like panic. It's literally just like panic. Um, so those will get louder. Um, I think that's like my one and only sign. Honestly, I don't remember like too many more. But that one especially, bitch, that is so fucking scary. Like you're already terrified and you're like hearing sirens. Like that's like insane. Um so I could like kind of hear that and like feel it almost. Like it feels so real. And I'm just pacing back and forth in my room, pacing back and forth, and I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck to do. And then I just kind of have this idea in my head that like I just need to go to bed. I just need to go to bed. We're gonna lie down and we're gonna go to bed. Because if you've ever like been high or just like, just any type of trip, oh, or even like alcohol and stuff, like you just send yourself to bed. Like if you're just kind of like, things are just too much, just go to bed. So, like, that's what I thought. Maybe I could just go to bed and, like, deal with whatever it is in the morning. I go to bed. Well, I'm not asleep. I lay in bed, and then I feel like my body is going into, like, literally, like, a full-blown seizure. Like, not even kidding. Like, I'm shaking so much in my hands, so much in my head, so much, like, all over my body. And I have these visuals in my head. Like, the best way I could describe it is, like, and this is exactly what I saw. If y'all have ever played Undertale, you play as, like, this little heart, this little red heart. And whenever you're fighting bosses and stuff, like, you're the little heart and you're, like, dodging their attacks. Like, I felt like I remember seeing that heart, and there were just so many attacks on it, and it felt like my body was just going, like, crazy. Like, it was so hard to describe. It felt like my eyes were rolling in the back of their head. It felt like I had no control of my body. I literally was just like, what the fuck? But, like, literally, what the actual fuck? It felt like my eyes were literally, like, bleeding and, like, coming. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It felt like I was literally, like, dying, like I said. Um, so I feel that, especially in my head. Like, I just remember my eyes, like, that was so crazy feeling. I was like, what the fuck? Like, um, my whole body was shaking. My arms were shaking. My legs were shaking. It just felt like I couldn't, like, control my body. I was, like, convulsing pretty much. I don't think it was necessarily a seizure, but I think something was going on. Something really bad was going on. And I think people have talked about, like, weed can cause seizures. I don't know if that's necessarily true because I tried looking it up and I don't think it even had much evidence supporting that. So I don't know. Because, like, I think it'd have to be like, okay, it's like the first time you're taking it and, like, that's when it would happen. But I think if you're a regular user, like, it's not that. But again, I haven't checked that information in a while, so do your own research. Um, but yeah, I'm literally convulsing in this bed. Literally, what the fuck? I wanted to have, like, a good night's sleep. And I'm convulsing in the bed, and I feel like I'm literally dying, and my eyes are popping out of my head. And then I remember, like, everything just kind of, like, chilled. But chilled in a scary way. Like, things slowed down, but it was scary. I remember my body was just kind of, it was doing its thing, but I felt like I was, like, literally, like, going through, like, space. Like, literally, like, space, like, stars and all these things. And it literally felt like I was about to, like, move to the afterlife. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. Like, it literally felt like my soul was, like, wanting to move. And I remember being in this bed whenever, this is so sad and just, like, you never know, like, where someone is in their life. But when I was feeling that convulsing and stuff, I actually had people, like, in my house. And I was like, should I tell them? And I'm like, you know what? I don't fucking care. Like, I was just in a part of my life where I just didn't fucking care. And, like, I felt like if I just died or something, like, I did not give a fuck. Like, fuck it. But, like, whenever I felt like my soul, like, feeling like it was literally about to, like, pass on, move on into, like, the afterlife, like, I have never felt myself, like, literally, like, beg for my life. Like, that's literally all I remember is just being like, God, like, please, like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And coming from someone who literally always, like, I'm not saying, like, wanted to necessarily die, but, like, suicidal ideation and, like, um you just, it becomes, like, so normal, like, suicidal thoughts and things. Like, it was so, like, I've never felt that, like, resurgence or, like, wants to live. And I felt that in that moment, and it was so powerful. Literally getting the chills on my legs. Um but it was insane. Like, I felt like I was floating into space. I felt like my whole body was convulsing. Like, I was gonna pass on and, like, um, oh, I felt like I had a, just, things were just, like, crazy. It was like, what the actual fuck? Um, and, bitch, I don't know how the fuck I fell asleep. I think I probably honestly passed out just because things were going so insane, so intense. Um, but I woke up. I was like, um, I don't know. I think I had like work that next day, and then I told my manager that I was having an emergency, and then like, bitch, she was such a dick to me about it. I literally remember being so mad because I was like, dude, I literally thought I fucking died. Like, literally, they're like mad that they have to like cover someone. Meanwhile, I feel like I fucking died. You know what I mean? Like, eyes rolling in the back of my head. Like, are you fucking serious? Um, but I told my roommates about it and stuff. And then I didn't know like exactly what this was, but I do now because of like the day after, but it's when you get too high. It's called greening out. And you just get too high and like from what it seems like, it's when you get too high and you have like bad thoughts on top of that. And dude, the strain that I used was literally insane. I had like the best high ever the night before. And that's why I wanted to use it the next night because I had so much fun going out. I was like, this is the perfect way to settle down. And then it was the worst high I ever had. Like literally. Even I had like I kept having bad highs after that because I still like wanted to smoke, but like um I'm sorry, I'm tired now. But literally, dude, the strain that I used was called Slurricane. What do you mean you're gonna smoke that and be shocked that like you almost died? It's called Slurricane, bitch. Like the best high that I had though was like literally one of the most insane feelings. Like I've never felt that way before. It's so good, so good. It is not worth the risk though of the bad high. Like it literally was like traumatizing, and I never remember that good high until just now. Um, but yeah, it's just like you get too high and like you can just have a bad trip and like I was saying, like I was having those bad thoughts. So they kept spiraling, and then it was just like, whoa, like completely out of control. Like, if I wanted to even grab my roommates, I couldn't because I literally had no control of myself. Like, I was like begging for my life, like literally. Um, but yeah, just like a nice, heartwarming story time. Um, did we learn anything from this? Um, I definitely learned what greening out was, and like, it's very normal. And like, the thing too is like, once it started happening, it kept happening. So like, the next times that I would get high after that, I still was just like, not on earth and like in spiral land. And I noticed like, um, I had like actual like traumatic things happen in my life as well, like kind of in this area, in this era. And me being high and like dealing with those things, that would throw me into that state as well. So it was just a time of spiraling, honestly. It was not. Whew. I'm glad I'm out of that era. That was really scary. Could have gone way more sideways than it did. Even though it was pretty bad, like I think I managed to survive it like just fine. Um, but yeah, I think the biggest thing, because listen, it's fine. Like this happens in the weed community. Like you're not like nothing's wrong with you. Nothing's necessarily even wrong with what you smoked. Okay. It's literally just have people around you. Have people around you. Have someone you can even just call, like on speed dial. Like that would have brought me back to reality probably so quickly. rather than just, just kind of like stay to myself. Like that was honestly like the worst part is like, um, when you stay with yourself, like that's when it gets worse. So that would be my best advice for this, because it is something that like if you do smoke a lot, like it's probably going to end up happening to you sometime. I mean, I definitely hope that it doesn't, but like, um just have that safeguard, like have someone you can call um during these moments, because you do not want that. Like that was actually horrifying, but I think it did give me lust for life. I wanted to live. And then I was like, wait, why did I have that feeling? I've never really had that feeling before. That is so crazy. But yeah, that's all I have to say on that. Um, we'll have some better story times soon. But we just gotta get some things out there first, I think. We gotta establish some lore first before getting to like something good. But yeah, I hope you're with me. I'm really tired right now. I think I don't really edit my story times, but uh, this one I'm probably gonna have to like a decent amount, just because like I keep like forgetting my thoughts and like I'm trailing off. Like I'm like kind of not here right now. But that might make some decent content, I guess. Um, but yeah, thank you for watching. I'm glad you stuck around, and I hope you have a good one. I'll see you in the next one, okay? More story times coming.